what's the next step in our bookkeeping? Right, so at this point, we know in principle all the values u sub n. The next step, of course, is to work backwards and now compute the first success run probabilities Fn by our second equation. And our slogan was that if I know the u's, in principle, I can construct the f's. Let's start with the initial conditions for the f. We know that f1, f2, f3, and f4 are all identically 0 because there can be no success run terminating in the first 4 trials. What about f5? Well, in our equation for fn, put in n equal to 5 and just write down what transpires. On the right, we discover u5 and terms u1 through u4. But u1 through u4 are 0, as we can read off directly from the table. And so they have no contribution to the sum, and we simply have fu5, and therefore f5, the probability of a first success run at trial 5, is 2 to the power minus 5. Let's do a couple more, just to make sure we get the flow of the calculations under our belt. Put in n equal to 6, we have f6. f6 devolves upon u6, as well as u1 through u5. But u1 through u4 are 0. The only contributions are from u5 and u6. But u5 contributes nothing too, because it is in conjunction with f1, which is 0. And therefore, you only get u6. And u6 is 2 to the power minus 6, as we read from the table. And so we now got f6. f7, likewise, put in n equal to 7. And again, we notice on the right, terms f1 through f4 contribute nothing. Terms u1 through u4 contribute nothing. And therefore, the only contribution on the right is from u7. And so we get f7 to be again 2 to the minus 6. And now we can systematically build up these f values, as we see in our table. Again, notice that we get various fractions. These are exact. You have powers of 2 in the denominator, but of course they're getting ugly, and the fractions themselves don't give us much of a feel for how the probabilities are behaving. None. There is very little edification in seeing one large number divided by another large number. Our intuition isn't built along those lines. But we will look at it in a simpler decimal form, just as soon as we got everything under our belts.